Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode in our DMD Profiles series. And today we're catching up with Juri from Estonia, telling us about his journey with DMD. So over to you, Juri, if you want to introduce yourself.
My name is Juri Lehtmets. I live in Estonia. I got diagnosed, like many of us, about when I was 3 years old, because my mother see that I was not jumping around from the ground, and one of his friends also who was doctor was saying that this is not okay, go see the doctors, what is going on.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us, Juri, and yeah, that was the same age I was diagnosed, actually, 3 years old, so yeah.
Yeah, it seems quite the normal age when they
yes.
discovered it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, what do you remember about your kind of like your early years and like growing up with Duchenne? When did you kind of first realize that you were different?
I think when I went to school, or a little bit earlier, that the moving around was not so easy like others were, and you were always falling down, and if you fall, then you fall very hard on the floor, and that that those are only memories. And also at the beginning there was very much being in the hospital to go to do the different researches and biopsies and something like this.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I kind of remember that that type of thing. Did you start using a wheelchair, or did you have any other kind of like special devices or anything that you used?
Oh, yeah. At the beginning, we used a three-wheeled bicycle to move around. At the beginning, I could move quite much with that, but afterwards, most of the time, someone pushed me forward till I could move around as much as I could.
Yeah,
it's really funny to see that nowadays we have those electric bicycles. If I would have it also on that time, it would be very nice.
Yes, yeah, that would have been good. I had a three-wheel bicycle as well, and I remember my friends pushing me around in the playground, and yeah. Cool. Okay. And whereabouts was the school that you went to? Was it in your hometown?
I was lucky that my mother was a teacher in local school. So I went to the totally normal school with the other kids who I have met in kindergarten, and it was very nice.
Yes, yeah.
And my mother's friend was also my class teacher or something like that. So it was very nice to have that community support, and everyone knew me and know how to cope with me.
And when did you start learning about Duchenne? I mean, what did you know about your condition when you were younger? Did you know all the details?
My parents were very looking forward the information wherever they could. we had a relative in Canada or something like that, and they designed the article about that the Duchenne gene is found in from Moses and this kind of thing. So we were looking information very early as we could.
That's good. That's good. And when you went to high school, like I assume that was a different school, was that? What was that like moving to high school?
For me, it's the basic school or until ninth grade. It was quite smooth and easy ride. But after the ninth, I had a very big struggle to find a way how to learn further. Basically, in my nearby, there were no high school where I could went. So, to be honest, after the ninth grade, about 4 years, I was totally by my own, learning a little in local classes like Russian language and English and Estonian and history and something like that. But I really didn't have a perspective to end that school because I was only going to school 1 or 2 days a week.
Right.
And for me, it meant quite much struggle because there was no elevator, so my father had to take me there, find the two boys in the corridor to get upstairs. And he visited me in the lunchtime to get me food, and when work ended, then he would take me to the home back. For my luck, on that time, I found myself with a new hobby, electric wheelchair floorball. We decided that I wanted to play it more in Estonia, and we started our own hockey club in Estonia.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
I managed to get to school back. It was some kind of rehabilitation school or for disabled. So I went to there was a dormitory also, but when I went to there, then there was a helper also in the dormitory, so I could move to there and study there 3 years.
So how old were you when you went there?
About I don't know, 17 or 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. For me, it was quite important because I could live 3 years in the capital city in Tallinn. So we at first year I was quite much mama's boy or something like that. I was only in there and went home in every weekend and something like this. But in second year we started with my roommate, found ways to move around in the city. We started to use public transport to move around. On that time, it was very hard to do because there was a bus only 1 in an hour, what was low floor, but we were young and we really wanted to experience life, so we started to went around, and end of the second year, we managed to get into the one youngsters program for social entrepreneurship or something like that.
Mhm.
And we managed to make one event in the shopping mall. We had the bands and wheelchair course and different activities. So it was quite also a new ground to look for.
So that sounds like it was your first steps to being independent and
Yes, because before that my father and mother were helping me mostly, so
yeah.
it was the first time when I had to do different stuff by myself.
Yes, yeah. And what kind of help and support did you get while you were there for like your care and stuff, or how did you
basically,
manage?
when I were in a dormitory, then they helped me. But out of the house, I had to be by myself, move around, and think how I could do it. Maybe some friends helped me, but mostly we tried to do stuff as much we could by ourselves.
Yes, yeah. And so did you say that so that was a college, was it?
Yeah, you could get the degree to get to the university further.
Okay.
And that was my goal all of the beginning. So I knew that I need to do those exams to get further. So
yes.
and that was my only way to do it. So I grabbed the chance to do it.
And so what subjects did you study there? What were the exams on?
Mostly it was I studied computers or something like that. But I did the exams in history and the community studies, or what they call that, where you can study how your country is working and something like this.
Yeah.
And also Estonian language and mathematics I had to also do. So. And I ended that degree, and I was very determined to go to the university also.
Okay, excellent. And going back a little bit, when was it that you started? When was it that you stopped walking and started using a wheelchair?
About when I was 11 or something like that. At 5th grade, I went with the wheelchair already.
Yeah.
But before that, it was also a quite big struggle to move around.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember what it was like when you got the wheelchair? What was that like for you?
Actually, for me, it meant a little bit more freedom. It's so funny that way, but for designers, wheelchair means freedom. I don't know how and why, but in normal wheelchair, the other classmates had to help me move around.
Yes. Yeah.
But they in class there was boys who were ready to help me out. So
Yeah.
it was not so big struggle.
And to start with, what kind of wheelchair did you have? Did you have a manual wheelchair or did you have an electric wheelchair?
At the beginning, I had a normal wheelchair, just basic one. Nothing very special. And my first electric wheelchair I got as late as 8th grade or something like that. Because in Estonia the system were not so good at the beginning, and I was one of the first who got it. So from the how to say, country budget or something like that.
Yeah.
Before, persons had to buy them they got from Sweden or whatsoever, and they were used. So yeah.
So the first electric wheelchair that was provided by the government. Government, was it?
Yes.
Okay, well that's great. And do you remember what difference it made for you when you got the electric wheelchair?
For me, it was quite important that I could move around by myself.
And you mentioned about wanting to go to university. Do you remember when you were younger? Did you have any like hopes for the future, or an idea of what you wanted to do in the future, or anything like that?
One of the, I don't know, my parents and my dream was go to university also. Just be like other normal kids around.
Yes, yeah. And so what did you want to study at university? Did you have that in mind, like a subject?
Yeah, I was interested in politics and the public administration and something like this. It was, for me, it was quite interesting.
Do you know why you were interested in that? What inspired you?
Maybe that I wanted to know how the country works to change it for better for myself and others.
Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Because I was, we found our Estonian seasonal muscular disorders when I was 8 years old or something like that. So I had around me different persons who were quite active to change the system. So it got me also my attention.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, and yeah, what are your kind of your memories about your childhood? Did you have a good childhood, would you say?
I could say yeah, but maybe when I was working bad, then I wasn't so active in community. I was more at home playing Legos and something like that. But I was, thanks for my parents, visiting different camps and stuff. So I was active, moving around, and it was quite good childhood, yeah.
And how easy was it for you to make friends?
Quite easy, actually. Because I'm not so conflicted person with others, so I get along with others quite well.
Oh, that's good. And yeah, you mentioned after ninth grade that you there wasn't really a full-time school for you to go to? Was that the same for other people your age, or was that just because of of you being in a wheelchair?
Uh, Basically, only that I used the wheelchair and I didn't have accessible school.
Right, I see.
The next school was 25 kilometers from here, so where I lived. So, but it was not accessible.
I see. So, yeah, how did that feel for you? That did that mean you had to kind of leave friends who as they went to school?
A little bit, yeah, because they went to the other city to school and they were not around so much around in village. So
Yeah.
so it was like the feel that you are left out or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically, first time when you really see that your disability is real struggle.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess it must have been quite an important step for you to be able to go to the capital city and to actually be in that college for disabled people.
Yeah, it was quite important. Actually, it was funny that it came quite middle of nowhere. We were on that time. We had different youth exchanges in different places. We were in Belgium and Estonia, and one of the camps was also organized in that school.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 2007 summer there in Astangu, where I was learning afterwards. There was also one of the youth exchanges, and then they asked that we have 2 free places. Do you want to come with my friend? So we said yes, and we went back home for a week, and after that we moved on into the dormitory. So it went quite fast.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about the different camps because I think that's something that we don't really have. So how did that work?
It was quite. It was one of the Europe Union projects or
Oh, I
stuff.
see.
They named it the name that the youth exchanges,
Right.
where you can different country youngsters can get together and do something interesting together. At the beginning, when the letter came that camp is coming, I didn't put very much attention onto that. Because on that time we had so much youth exchanges already, so
yeah,
we were not so fond of them anymore.
Right, I see.
But when my father heard that it's going to be there, then he said that you wrote there right away that you are coming, and there is no story about it.
Yeah, tell me. So obviously you did eventually go to university. So tell me how you made that happen and how did that start?
Basically, after when I ended Astangu school, I went back to home actually. For a year, I started to organizing and put the plan together how to make it happen.
Mm.
And yeah, I had a very big help from my friend Sven Kõlavets, who were already studying in Tallinn University of Technology. So when I were Astangu, I was also visiting him also in university. So I got some ideas how what I need to do to get to university. So I had support and plan to put the plan together.
And so what did you have to plan for?
Basically, I had only dormitory room, and I had to find a way how to get help to get out of the bed and do the stuff. And at the beginning, I had no, I don't know, a place to turn to get the helpers and stuff. So I had to try to make it from scratch. So at the beginning, I started looking around to find the different persons to help me around. But in reality, when the starting point were beginning, the many were not so fond anymore to help me out. So at the beginning, my brother were also went to the university. So at the beginning, my mother had asked him to move with me into the dormitory. So, but soon we realized that living together in 20 in small space, it doesn't go well for a relationship. So you were always in trouble, because when you ask help beforehand, then he was saying that why you are asking me now, and when I ask it when I just need it, then it's also bad.
Yeah.
So we had to figure it out. He was with me about a year or something like that. Then we decided that we have to be separate and find a way how to solve it other ways.
Yeah.
Most of the helpers were my classmates. So at the beginning, when my brother left, then was quite a struggle to find the persons. In some days you didn't know who is going to help you to sleep in the evening at the morning. So, but yeah, if you are there, then you're ready to risk and find the ways.
Yeah, that sounds very challenging. And so, were there any times when you didn't have any help? Any days when you got into trouble or anything?
Most of the time, end of the day, I found the solution. But sometimes it needed to write every person you know, basically, around. And then you could get to the bed eventually.
So yeah, you're very much relying on people wanting to help, and Yeah,
Yes, yes.
and finding kind people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible, but yeah, in mind-wise, it's quite struggle because you're always thinking, oh, is that person can help me? Is that person can help me?
It seems like you can't really relax in that situation. You can't have kind of normal relationships because you're always thinking about like the help that you need and how to make sure that you get it.
Yes, yes.
Mm,
Then your attention is always in other places.
mm, mm. So, after some time, did you manage to find a kind of better way of doing things, or was it always like that while you were at university?
Uh, yeah. Afterwards, I found other ways also
Mm,
because in afterwards there was one site named CareMate where you could find the persons and pay for them.
mm,
1 year was ready. My friend be my personal assistant
mhm,
for a year. We were discussing with my municipality, and they were ready to support and pay for him.
okay. Mm,
And now, basically, yeah, in the morning, I have one of the agency who comes in the morning to help me out.
mhm,
Then I use that portal named CareMate,
mhm,
and next door are two persons who are ready to help me to sleep.
mhm. Okay. Mm,
In the weekends, my mother helps me out
yeah.
usually.
Mhm.
So I I try to put it together from different building blocks.
Yes. Yeah.
I also use very quite much persons in the dormitory who are moving around.
Mhm.
Basically, I ask from stranger to open the door or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Great. And yeah. Tell me a bit about your university life. Did you enjoy being at university?
Yeah, I liked it quite much, especially the bachelor's time. I was always I was doing basically same stuff like any other student in university. I was in different organizations in university and went to the different parties and stuff. So I was, because I know that I was lucky to get there. Then I started to use every opportunity what I had in there. So yeah, I like that time very much
Yeah.
because you were free and had the chance to do whatever you liked.
Yes. Yeah. And you managed to access the parties, okay?
Sometimes it was a struggle, but I wanted to go so much, so I was ready to cope with that.
Yes. Yeah. Mhm. And yeah, how about the like the academic side of things? Did you enjoy what you were studying? And
Yeah,
what was it that you were doing at university?
I was studying public administration like I wanted to.
Oh, great.
At first, bachelor time was quite interesting. In masters, it it wasn't anyone, and not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get to know the basics and know almost how it worked. So it was good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. And yeah, did you make many friends at university?
Yeah, quite much. Yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with them now?
A little, not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because there, as I said, there was always the shadow of that helping thing. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, it didn't get the head around it.
Mm. And yeah, tell me a bit about your life at the moment and since university. What have you been doing?
I had basically I'm still at school. I tried to end my master's, but it doesn't go well right now. But yeah, right now I work in Estonian muscular disorders organization. I'm the leader there right now.
Mm.
I have been there quite long time, but the leader I have been 4 or 3 years right now.
Mm. So what does that involve? What do you do for them?
One of the work we make our own magazine where you have to write by yourself or find the writers, and also some events what I need to organize.
You've obviously had to overcome a lot of kind of challenges to do what you want to do. So I guess it means you can help other people to do the same.
Yeah, quite much, because it's quite good that I'm used to be in media and news and stuff, so I can represent others also in different subjects or problems that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's good. So yeah, how have you managed with the like the changes in your condition like over the years in adulthood? Kind of, what have been the big changes for you?
Yeah, it needs quite much to cope with. At the beginning, the wheelchair, of course, to use it and point the helpers to move around. Second stage, quite much is about breathing and this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the beginning, I used the VPAP quite much. And afterwards, it went quite difficult, especially in evenings, because you had so much CO2 in your lungs that it was quite hard to breathe, and you were red in the face and stuff. So you had to find ways how to use it in daytime also.
Mm-hmm.
On that time, I saw your video, and I was also thinking that Mofby solution would be very good for me also, because with the mask you're like a Darth Vader or something like that. And because I was quite much dependent on the totally stranger's help, so I had to be approachable for others.
Mm.
the mouthpiece is not so bothering others, and
Yes.
you can normally speak and do stuff.
Yeah. No. That.
Also, one of the biggest struggle was that when I started the university, I could eat by myself and even manage in the toilet somehow.
Mm.
And after that, and it was struggle when it ended, and you had to find a way how other person can help you out.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
That I think was also one of the struggles.
Mm. Yeah. So it's obviously been important for you to research and find out what other people are doing in other countries. That's obviously been useful to you.
Yes. Then you know what the equipment you have to get for you when you want to make it easier for you. Also, yeah, for me it was very important to get the support for my back and the neck and stuff.
Yes.
Because in normal, not so basic, in the basic chair, it was quite hard to to move around. You basically had the hand put together with the ropes, and I don't know, and it went quite dangerous because every bump or something can make your position bad, and then you can't do it.
Yes.
Around.
No, that sounds difficult. And when you found out about the equipment, how easy has it been for you to actually get the equipment that you need? Like the ventilator, for example, and the mouthpiece. How easy was it to get that when you knew what you wanted?
For my luck, the hospital where I went to researches and stuff had just made their relationship with the respect Finnish company, and then I said that I really need that, and they found some kind of solution to provide me that. Basically, it's very good that it's not my own, but it's hospitals and respect property. So they had to replace different things and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm coming to the end of my questions now, I think. But yeah, tell me a bit about your life now. Obviously, you mentioned about working for the organization. What do you like to do in your kind of spare time? And do you have any hobbies or things that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I like to visit different venues and events if it's possible. Also traveling as much it is possible. And also, as I mentioned, I play electric guitar floorball. We are still active as a club, and we are playing in Finnish league also. So in next January, let's hope it starts again.
Yes. Okay, and how easy is that to play for you? Are you still able to do that now?
By years and years, it's more struggle
Hmm.
to get it. At the beginning, I was playing in the stick player on the field. Right now, I'm the goalkeeper, and I started the remote what use the remote what is in the center
Hmm.
on the table, and but it's still, if you have a bad day, then it doesn't go well.
Mm. Yeah. Okay.
So it's a little bit struggle to cope with it.
Mm.
That you have to, most of the time you try to make the chair right for you,
Mhm.
not the playing part so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And how old are you now?
I'm 33 right now.
Mhm. So, what are your thoughts and kind of hopes for the future?
Oh, quite long time I was hoping to live like 20 years or something like that. And sometimes a little bit it got your mind that you have a little much, not so much time to live.
Mm.
But right now I'm quite for me it's not a trouble anymore. For me it's okay. You live as much you have got, so you don't mess around with that this kind of ideas and stories about it.
Mm. Mm. And is there anything that you still want to achieve?
Yeah, that part I have to think about what I want to do more,
Mm.
because I have got so many courses checked, so I have to think where I want to go further.
Mhm.
Maybe it would be nice that it is quite good to organize different trips for me or other disabled persons.
Mhm.
It's quite interesting to get one, to choose one area and try to figure it out what you can see and do with the wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe this is the one of the things or subject what to do.
Mm. So it sounds like you've been kind of like throughout your life, you've had to be quite creative and quite resilient, quite strong to kind of overcome all the different challenges and to find solutions. But it sounds like you've had a kind of a good result from it from your work.
Yes, I think this is one of the Duchenne's strongest point, that you're stubborn and quite you are always thinking about out of the box,
Mm. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you don't have any other solutions to get, so you have to find yourself
Mm.
solutions and ways to do it.
Yes. Definitely.
And if you are okay with that, and use that, then you can go quite well.
Yes. Yeah.
But you have to have that network, strong network around you also.
Yes. Definitely.
Have
Um.
friends and stuff.
Yeah. And the final question really is, if you're talking to some young people with Duchenne, maybe like 16, 17, what advice would you give them?
How to you be open-minded, and open for other person's help, and ready to do your part also quite well as you honor. And it is important to have your own ideas and plans also. You have to live your life by yourself.
Yeah.
By your own standards.
Mm. Cool. That's great advice. Yeah, thanks, Juri. It's been really good to hear your story, and I think people will benefit a lot from hearing it.
Yeah. And to be in touch then.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.